Night of the Living Dead. It's a classic. You've probably seen it, and if you haven't, you've seen something it spawned, like a movie or a TV show or a comic book or a TV show based on a comic book or a video game or a TV show based on a video game. There's a lot going on. But there are other movies out there starting with those three words that I think are worth talking about. So before I get cut off by the opening credits, here are 5 Night of the movies that aren't Night of the Living Dead, right here on Show and Tell with Night of the Comet from 1984, directed by Tom Eberhardt. Okay, it's night. There's a comet. It wipes out almost everybody, but you and your sister survive. What do? You go to the mall, and things get even more awesome from there. It's a gorgeously shot time capsule of 1984, and the script is a ton of fun. It's really ingenious how they did what they did for like no money. How do you get footage of a downtown Los Angeles that's totally deserted if your budget is $700,000? You shoot Christmas morning. Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney are top notch as the two leads. And guess what? You get some Chicote. Robert Beltran. You should check it out. It didn't make a huge dent in the box office in 1984 because that was a really crowded year. The week it opened, it was sharing the screen with Ghostbusters, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, Amadeus, and of course, the box office hit the week it opened, Missing in Action, starring Chuck Norris. The 80s were weird. Night of the Hunter from 1955, directed by Charles Laughton. Robert Mitchum plays an evil preacher chasing down 2 children to get his hands on a big old sack of cash. And The Matrix is a 90s movie about a hacker who wears cool sunglasses. That's how much I'm oversimplifying and underselling Night of the Hunter. This is supposed to be a quick video, and I want you to discover it for yourself. I could talk about this movie all day, and I probably have. It's a genuinely frightening, expressionistic, melodramatic masterpiece with imagery pulled from the silent era and iconography that survives to this day. Robert Mitchum is a beast, and Shelley Winters puts in an all-time performance. We actually did an episode of Night of the Hunter for the podcast Refresh My Memory. The link is in the description. You should check it out. Next on our list is 1986's Night of the Creeps, directed by Fred Decker. It's got aliens, it's got zombies, it's got evil dogs, it's got Easter eggs to movies that had yet to be made. But most of all, it's got those 2 magic words, Tom Atkins stash. Tom Atkins is a legend. He's been in Halloween 3, The Fog, Maniac Cop, and the greatest detective show of all time, Rockford Files. I will take no further questions regarding the Rockford Files. Let's talk about Night of the Demon. No, not the 1980 Bigfoot movie Night of the Demon. No, not the 1988 movie Night of the Demons. No, not the 2009 movie Night of the Demons. And definitely not the 1971 film The Touch of Satan, which was re-released as Night of the Demon. No, we're talking about the 1957 movie Night of the Demon by Jacques Tourneur. Jacques Tourneur. I'll say Jacques Tourneur because I sound like an asshole when I say Jacques Tourneur. But that's, I'm bilingual, so I'm allowed to do the accent. Night of the Demon, also known as Curse of the Demon, but we'll let that go, has a real noir vibe to it. And it should, because Jacques Tourneur, the director, not only made the horror classic Cat People, but he's directed some of my favorite noirs, like Out of the Past and a movie called Nightfall, which you really need to see that if you're a Coen Brothers fan. Night of the Demon is on a ton of greatest horror movies of all time lists for good reason. And one of those lists was made by Martin Scorsese, and he's seen over 38 movies. So, before we get to the final entry in the list, I would like to give a dishonorable mention to Night of the Iguana. Tennessee Williams, what are you doing? You call your movie Night of the Iguana, And there's no giant iguana attacking the city. This is as disappointing as when I saw a cat on a hot tin roof, and it wasn't about cats, and it wasn't about tin, and it certainly wasn't about roofing. And Streetcar Named Desire? You couldn't even be bothered to put a talking streetcar in it? Come on. Streetcar Named Desire with Chris Pratt as the streetcar. He can record it while lying on his sweet, sweet stacks of Garfield money. Our final entry on the list is Night of the Lepus, directed by William F. Claxton from 1972. The 1970s had some of the greatest films of all time. The new Hollywood movement was in full swing. But also, at the same time, there were all these nature movies about either getting back to or being attacked by nature. Night of the Lepus falls in the latter category. Let's take a look at that poster.
How many eyes does horror have? How many times will terror strike? They were born in that tragic moment when science made its great mistake. Now, from behind the shroud of night they come, a scuttling, shambling horde of creatures, destroying all in their path.
Rabbits. It's giant rabbits. Giant rabbits attack a small town. This one's got Rory Calhoun, Janet Leigh, and DeForest Kelley, because you can't have an animal attack movie from the 70s without a bit of Star Trek. This one is accidentally adorable. You want giant rabbits? Drop them in a model city, shoot them in slow motion. Want them covered in blood? Bit of ketchup. And what I do love that it looked like they were trying to hide the fact that they were rabbits in the marketing. Wouldn't you? What's your favorite night of the movie? Did I choose yours, or did I make a huge mistake and leave the greatest one out? Let me know in the comments. Let me know anything you want. I just love to hear from you. I want to do deep dives into more of these movies. I'd love to do a full video about Night of the Hunter, about Night of the Creeps. I'd love to do one about Night of the Comet. Night of the Lepus, I want to riff that one. As always, hit the like thing, and hit the subscribing thing if you want to see more of my stuff. You know how it works. And a very special thank you to Squibbles, who gave me the idea for this video during my weekly live stream, Morning Chit with Eric Fell. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the future.